What's up, guys? Manic here today, and today we're going to be doing another video, and it's going to be the mysterious death of Kendrick Johnson. And Kendrick Johnson, he was a 17-year-old boy. He was discovered inside a rolled-up mat in the gym of his high school in Georgia. The preliminary investigation and autopsy concluded that the death was accidental, but Johnson's family had a private pathologist conduct a second autopsy, which concluded that Johnson died from blunt force trauma. The school didn't really do shit, in my opinion. So basically, the initial investigation, Johnson was found headfirst in the center of a rolled-up wrestling mat in his high school gym on January 11th of 2013. His body was discovered by students who had climbed up to the top of a cluster of mats, each of which stood nearly 6 feet tall and 3 feet wide. An autopsy by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation stated that Johnson had died from positional asphyxia. And the case was ruled an accidental death by the sheriff's office. They hypothesized that Johnson had fallen into the mat looking for his shoe and died after being able to get out. 3 students told investigators that it was common for some students to store their shoes behind or under the rolled-up mats. Johnson was not wearing shoes when he was found. A student at the school said he shared a pair of Adidas shoes with Johnson, and then after gym class, Johnson would always go to the mats, jump up, and toss the shoes inside the middle of the hole. So basically, the thing that gets me is the body. So the independent autopsy found, among other things, that Johnson's body was stuffed with newspapers. The funeral home that processed the body following the GBI's autopsy stated that they never received Johnson's organs from the coroner. Johnson's internal organs have said to have been destroyed through natural process and discarded by the prosecutor before the body was sent back to, or prosector, my bad, before the body was sent back to, Valdosta. That's according to the funeral home owner. That left a void, which the funeral home filled. The funeral home owner stated that it is standard practice to fill a void in this fashion, and that the cotton or sawdust may also be employed for this purpose. Johnson's family filed a complaint. Okay, so for one, his body was stuffed with newspapers, and it wasn't the funeral home's doing. So that's weird. Who did that? So basically, the surveillance tape in November of 2013, 290 hours of surveillance tape from 35 cameras that covered the gym were released to CNN following a court request. A forensic analysis enlisted by CNN found that tapes from 2 cameras are missing an hour and 5 minutes of footage, while another set was missing 2 hours and 10 minutes of the footage. However, some apparent lapses in coverage were found to result from camera systems that were not synchronized with one another. Timestamps between separate camera systems differed as much as 20 minutes around the same period, giving the impression of a gap where no gap existed. Other missing footage was the result of inactivity within the camera's view. Camera systems were motion activated using a change light in light pixels to turn recordings on and off. The area where Johnson's body was discovered, where the gym mats were stored, was outside the range of all the surveillance cameras. So basically, they say that this guy climbed up into this mat, fell in getting his shoe. Okay? But when you look at the evidence of, for one, there was blood under the shoe but not on the shoe. His face, and I've seen the picture, I'm not going to show it, it's very, very gruesome. His face looks like he had been beaten. It doesn't look like he just, slid in. His father also tried to fit in a mat just to show how hard it would have been for him to even get in this mat. And it's extremely hard. 3 foot wide, are you serious? And you think that he just got in there by himself and fell in, on top of the fact that this was something he did. He threw his shoes in there. but I'm sure he didn't just like climb in head first. There was also the fact that nobody was in the gym when this happened. Like, what is this? I don't understand. Another thing that I found really weird is his shoes were both off and they were next to his legs in the rolled up mat. How did they get to, and I'm going to show you this, because how did they get, and it's a very small image, but how did they get the shoes right next to him in the mat if they weren't placed there? I mean, they said he came in for a shoe, so shouldn't that shoe been where his head would be? You'd think so. You know, and again, the family was the one who posted the photo of his face. It's awful. It does not look like he just died. It looked like he had been killed. You know, I mean, and here is the mat picture of the father who is trying to, you know, show you guys how hard it would be for him to even get in this mat without pretty much being stuffed in there. So, I mean, you see, he can't even get his shoulders through, okay? So unless you're being pushed and shoved in this mat, you're not gonna go. And again, the shoe, the one he was reaching for, which is what they assume, there was blood under the shoe, but not on it. You'd think that, okay, if he's bleeding from the top, the blood's gonna go and hit the shoe. So, I honestly think that this was a cover-up from the school, to be honest with you. I think that they don't want to find out if it was a murder, but I think they know it's a murder. I'm sorry. I know it's a murder. This guy didn't just climb in these mats and suffocate to death. For one, okay, how long was he in there? I mean, why was there nobody in the gym? Why are the surveillance cameras, why do they not go to the gym? You know, you'd think that you'd want, if you have surveillance cameras in a school, you'd want them in literally every single area of the school, would you not? I mean, for different reasons, school shootings or people skipping classes or, you know, any number of things. I personally think that Kendrick Johnson was killed and he was stuffed in that mat to make it look like an accident. I don't know who killed him. I don't know if it was a student. I don't know if it was a school. But somebody killed that man, that kid, because he was 17 years old in high school, and put him in that mat. So, it's a very sad story, but I do not believe that he was suffocated. I do not believe that he crawled in looking for his shoe. I personally believed he was killed and stuffed in that mat. So what do you guys think? Do you think, you know, Kendrick Johnson, he just climbed in and, you know, he got his shoe and he got stuck and he died, you know, from suffocation? Or do you think that there's something more sinister and more evil to this and that he was killed and shoved in that mat? What do you guys think? Let me know. Like and subscribe. I just feel so bad for this family. They have not been able to get any answers. They haven't been able to get anything. In fact, I've read they had to pay the attorney they had, and them had to pay the school or, you know, whoever they had to pay in court a lot of fucking money. So that doesn't make sense to me, you know. And again, they filed a lawsuit against the school and they didn't win, unfortunately. I think they should have won. But again, that's just me. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? It's a very, very sad story, and I hope that they get justice for their son. Talk to you guys later.